Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Danny. We have just seen Andy Ruiz and Jarrell Miller battle out to a draw in Los Angeles on the undercard of Terence Crawford and Israel Madrimov. Danny, good to be joined by you. It's getting late, but we are getting closer to the main event. Thoughts on that one? Fair, was a draw a fair result in your book?
Yep, I had it a draw. Really enjoyed the fight. It was actually a more enjoyable fight to watch than I thought. Yeah, we can get into specifics later, I suppose, but I think wasn't that hard a fight to score. I wasn't particularly surprised by the draw. I was surprised at Miller by two rounds. That was, I don't know, bit wide for me. Ruiz dominated the first 3, 4 rounds of the fight, and then perhaps unsurprisingly, gassed out pretty badly. And then it was, for the most part, Miller there. But, when you've won the first 4 rounds in a 12 round fight, you only need to find two more to get a draw. And for me, Ruiz found them. He managed to dig deep for 2 rounds. I can't remember what the first one was, but the 11th, I had him winning. He really done well in that round. And yeah, no arguments at all with the draw. That's how I had it.
Fair enough. What do you think with Ruiz it was just a case of just kind of lack of fitness, inactivity? 'Cause as you mentioned, kind of he won the early stages of the fight, but it kind of it escaped him in the end. Why does Andy Ruiz not win this fight?
I just think, obviously, he's not the fittest fighter. I think he didn't come in, even by his standards, in particularly good shape. I mean, they referenced it in commentary. I think it's, aside from his first two professional fights, it's the second highest he's ever came in. And
Mm.
when you've been out of the ring for as long as he has, and you've been as inactive as he has, and he's getting on, I don't think that serves you well. And I think obviously he's quite explosive when he does let his hands go. That drains any fighter's gas tank, let alone somebody who's not in good shape. It's sort of the course I saw the fight taken. I don't know why Miller attempted to box on the back foot for the first round, and I don't think it would have been a particularly competitive fight if he continued to try to do that. That was a bit bizarre to me. I've never seen him do that before. And as soon as Miller started up in the ante, yeah, really started to struggle. And I think he looked pretty gassed to me from like 5, 6 rounds on.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a big factor in this fight, and look, I know you backed Miller points pre-fight, so did I. I was actually fairly confident as well, and I just think when you consider Ruiz, look, he's been inactive, and I think we know for a fact he's not been active in the gym the past couple of years. He's not one of these guys who's not fighting, but is staying in the
Yeah,
gym, staying fit. He's not been doing that, so
no.
maybe it wasn't a surprise that he's kind of wasn't really built for 12 rounds tonight. Got one question about Jarrell Miller. Danny's kind of fought a couple of names in the past, but Andy Ruiz is kind of obviously former unified world champion. Um, was this Jarrell Miller's career best performance, would you say? Obviously, he had a loss against Daniel Dubois last time out. He's got a couple of names on his record. Lucas Brown, Gerald Washington, Marius Wack from a few years ago. But do you consider this to be a career best performance for him, or not so much?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, when you factor in, as you say, the level of opposition, I mean, I'm struggling to think apart from those names you said. Didn't he like wipe the floor with Thomas Adamek or something? But
Yeah.
I remember the size difference in that fight was insane. I think he was 90 pounds heavier than him on the night. But anyway,
Crazy.
it's hard to say a career best performance with a draw, but it could be like none of the fighters that he's beat before or anywhere have achieved anywhere near what Andy Ruiz has, albeit it's not the Andy Ruiz that, ran Joseph Parker very close, that beat Anthony Joshua. But it's a good question. In terms of the scale of the fight, if you factor in all variables, then you could definitely make a strong case for it for sure.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think it's a big step up in opposition. We'll round off Danny because it's getting late. Will we see a rematch? And if we do, who would you favour?
Ooh, I think, why not? I can't think of any other fight I'm clamoring to see either of them in without being disrespectful. It was quite an entertaining fight to watch, I thought. Don't know if you agree, but yeah, I'd watch it again. I mean, I don't really see where either of them goes. Who I would favor, it's tough. I don't know how much better Miller can get than that. I think Ruiz probably can get a bit better, a bit fitter.
Mm.
Maybe edge Ruiz points. Maybe if a good version of Andy Ruiz turns up, which is obviously a massive if, then I would maybe edge Ruiz to nick it on points.
Yeah, I think Ruiz, look, he's just I keep coming back to the inactivity, and if he's able to kind of have a couple of weeks off, of course, and get back in the gym. I mean, I wonder if this is a potential fight for the undercard of the Usyk Fury rematch on December 21st. I feel like there's enough time for both guys to kind of recover from this fight and get back in camp, but something tells me we're not going to see Andy Ruiz back.
I was about to say, how likely is that?
Yeah, I would look. I feel like if it was other fighters, yes, but is Andy Ruiz going to be back in the ring in 4.5 months' time? Probably not, but we'll see. But look, another good fight tonight. It's been
Yep.
been an entertaining night so far. We will see what happens for both fighters, and yeah, we'll see what happens if we see a rematch next for both fighters. Danny, good to be joined by you as always. I will speak to you again very soon.
Thanks, mate.